If you've ever wished for an RPG with a female protagonist and crave that sweet Otome romance, then this might be the game for you. Stand By Me completely blew my mind when I first discovered it. Not only because it's an Otome RPG, which we all know is pretty rare, but also because of its unique choice-based battle system presented in comic strips. I remember how much I enjoyed exploring the world, and honestly, all of the allies immediately caught my attention. If you didn't know, Stand By Me is a pixel art Otome RPG that follows our MC, who gets reincarnated into a kingdom as CL Rosenbleu. But the interesting part is, she has no idea where she's been reincarnated to. Now, it's been a while since the Stand By Me Kickstarter, and even though it didn't work out back then, the team has continued working on the game and improving it over time. So today, I finally gathered all the updates they've been sharing over the past few months. They've been updating consistently, but I just didn't have the time to cover everything until now. I'm sorry. But I'm really excited to share all of this with you along with my thoughts because honestly, I've been holding this in for over a year now. So yes, now I can finally let it all out. Heartflop Excel, romance meets Nihongo. Before that, if you love visual novel story-rich or Otome games, or if you want to learn Japanese with Otome games and experience some heart-fluffy romance, I suggest you to subscribe to this channel because you are in the right place. So starting with the devlog from July 2025, like I mentioned earlier, the Kickstarter didn't work out for them, but I'm honestly really glad that it didn't make them lose hope or give up. Instead, they became even more motivated to deliver a better and more enjoyable game experience. Because yes, I'm one of the believers. So one of the first things they did was increase the game's resolution to full HD. And because of that, it required a lot of asset adjustments. But just look at how much it has improved, you guys. I already love what we saw in the demo, but seeing this upgrade genuinely widened my eyes. Like, this room, our room, looks so good. The improvement feels massive, and I especially love how the room now has more depth. It doesn't just look like a simple box anymore. Even the view outside the window adds so much atmosphere. You can really feel the vibe of the game, and that's what makes it so immersive. And it's not just her room, by the way. There's more that I will show you later. It also looks like they'll be including some CG redraws, which I'm really excited to see. They've also added the much requested numerical values for the social stats and affection menus, so it's easier for us to track our progress. And yes, guys, we'll also be managing stats in this game, but not in the usual way. Here, it's more focused on social stats, like you can grow from an ignoring knucklehead into a wise and powerful sorceress. Now, moving on to the next devlog, August 2025. Before, we only got a glimpse of the room, but now this is the full reveal. And oh my god, you guys, this is perfect. Okay, I might be a bit biased because pastel pink is my favorite color, but still, I really love this room. The maps have been reworked to fit the new resolution, and because of that, the devs are able to add more details that actually have lore significance. This makes the exploration feel much more meaningful and even educational. Like I mentioned before, and in one of my other videos too, I already loved the exploration they gave us in the demo. The town genuinely feels alive, and each day doesn't feel repetitive. You can actually expect new things happening. And now that they've upgraded it, I'm even more excited to see what they will offer because even the demo already felt like more than enough for me. And they're not stopping there. They also said they'll be putting more care into interactions with objects to support the stat rising system, which I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to see what kind of interactions we'll get. The devs also showed us some areas inside the mansion, like the library and the entrance. And wow, it has improved so much compared to before. Also, our Pixel MC looks so cute here, I can. And here's some good news. In the demo, we couldn't go upstairs, right? Even though it's technically CL's own house. I kind of forgot about it, but I think it's because that area belongs to her brother, if I'm not mistaken. But now, there's a small new area to explore, and I'm really curious what it could be. Now, on to the next devlog, September 2025. Here, we're introduced to a new map in the shopping district, connecting the Citeria to the Rose and Blue mansion. I really love the changes. They look so good, even from the outside. Because of that, you can clearly tell which shop each building represents just from its design. I remember how the shopping district already caught my attention in the demo, but this version feels much calmer and more refined. It really gives off that RPG vibe, if you know what I mean. And the bird statue in front of our mansion, oh, that is so cute. The NPC sprites are still pending updates, so I'm really curious to see what changes they'll make. And by the way, we're not just exploring the Sideria in this game. We'll also get to explore 2 other countries, Kantara and Idris. For now, they've shown us the updated shopping district map, along with a preview of the new BGM created by Dama. And you know what's crazy, you guys? This is the part I'm really excited about. They are collaborating with 2 talented composers, Dama, who will be working on tracks related to the game settings and locations, and Kimiyoshi Maruyama from Project Likes, who will handle the main theme, character themes, and emotional BGMs. And he has worked on well-known Otome projects like Steam Prison and O's Mafia. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm so happy for them. Let's listen to the BGM again so we can really take it in and enjoy what they've created. It must have been such a special moment for the team when they received this news. I'm genuinely so happy for them. I can't wait to hear more of what they will produce for this game. Next up, we have the devlog covering October and November 2025. Here, they explain the free day system and some of the mechanics surrounding it. So it looks like aside from the main story quests, we'll also have free days. These are basically a valuable resource we can use to strengthen our bonds with other characters while also improving our social stats. Characters we know will be scattered all over Varin, and we can freely interact with them and accept quests marked with a star bubble. Hey, this sounds so fun. I think this mechanic is really nice to have. There's also a special free day seller, a traveling merchant, who sells items that can be given as gifts to increase affection points. Of course, it is up to us to figure out what each character likes. Oh my, so we have to guess. It's okay. Once we get to know them better, we'll figure it out, right? We'll also get access to a regional minimap, which help us locate characters more easily. Super helpful, so we won't get lost trying to find them. And as we can see from the guide here, there are a lot of star bubbles, so that means plenty of quests to choose from. Very exciting. It says here that we can only accept 1 love interest quest per day, and this quest can have multiple parts that take several days to complete. I wonder what kind of quests will take that long, but I actually love it. It shows that these aren't just random short quests, but something more meaningful that helps deepen our relationships. And that makes me really happy because it means each interaction will feel more impactful. So, yes, plan wisely to maximize affection with your favorites. Of course, for me, I'm going for Kiel and Caius first for sure. And to make things even more exciting, as we build up affection points with our favorite allies, we'll unlock more interactions as the story progresses. There's a mini interaction menu available during free days, along with additional scenes that trigger when certain conditions are met. Oh, special events. Here I come. The options include chat, flirt, joke, hug, and kiss. Oh my. This must be when our affection is at its highest. I can't wait to see these special events because even from the demo alone, I remember one of my interactions with an ally. It already included small CGs and I was completely in love. Do you know that from that one scene, I was already daydreaming about all the possible moments that could happen? Spoiler, it was chaos. You'll also be keeping records of the people you meet in your journal at home, which updates based on your relationship with them. And judging from the journal and the map here, I think we'll also be able to interact with other characters, not just our allies, like this girl, for example. It seems like we can choose whether we want to hang out with friends or even our brother. Yes, that pink-haired guy is our brother, by the way, not an ally. But I do have one question though. Since they mentioned that we can only accept one love interest quest per day, I wonder how it works with side quests or spending time with other characters. Is there a limit for that? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they handle this system. Okay, now we're moving on to the December update, the final update of 2025. The new scenes and art for the free day events have been completed. Very exciting. So, if you remember, back in July, they mentioned that they will also be redrawing some of the CJs. No spoilers on the full scenes yet, but Altair and Caius events have already been written. Caius, oh my, I'm fangirling. I really can't wait to experience his truth. Just saying his name already awakens something in me. And here we get a tiny contextless preview of an unfinished panel. It looks like our MC is trying to protect him. I'm not entirely sure, but something is definitely happening here. The map updates and optimization for the new game resolutions are also going really well, and they've shown us some previews in video form. We've only seen the shopping district before, so now let's take a look at more areas along with the soundtrack. And just a quick reminder, the NPC models and some elements are still not finalized, so keep that in mind. The first one is the Church of Farin. It's been a while since I played the demo, so I don't fully remember if we have visited the church before, but I'm really liking the design so far. Next, we have Felleris Castle, and wow, it is so blue and grand. I love it, especially because this is Kai's home. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he's the king of this country. Wait, so if we end up with him, does that mean we become the queen? That's insane. But seriously, I'm loving this map, you guys. The lighting feels really perfect to me. Moving on to their January update, and this is the part that surprised me the most because in my previous video, I already adored how the shop visuals look, and they upgraded that too. Just look at this, you guys. As you can see, they finished updating all the base maps and optimizing the events up to the published demo, and they've already started working on new content. Work on the custom NPCs has also progressed, and these are the updated sprites as they are being created. The bakery is one of the shops I really love in the demo, and seeing this improvement just blows my mind. Like, oh my gosh, how do I even explain this? It feels so comfy, so fluffy. I really love the atmosphere. It gives off this warm, cozy feeling that fits the bakery perfectly. And then there's the doll store, or maybe more like a toy store. It's full of dolls, definitely, and it looks adorable. But what surprised me the most, unexpectedly, is the florist shop and the boutique. Like, oh my god, the attention to tiny details here is just insane. The pixel art used to create all of these flowers, it must not have been easy. And look at all these dresses, the jewelry, the parasols, the shoes. Oh my gosh, I really hope we can actually buy dresses from here because I hope it's not just a decoration. And look at the chandelier, the window seat. I love the shop interior so much. It really gives off that kingdom vibe. It fits perfectly. I genuinely think the devs succeeded in conveying the atmosphere of this world. They've also built up a sizable library of custom tracks, currently at 22 tracks and counting, which means there's even more coming from both composers, Project Likes and Dama. And there are also some quality of life improvements like saving during choices, so now you can simply press X to open the menu and save during choices. And the next one is menus during dialogue. So the affection and social stat menus, which previously didn't work during dialogue, now function seamlessly and return you to the conversation afterward. And it looks like they're also planning to work on features like a CG gallery and further adjustments to social stats and affection systems. Despite the significant financial investment required for all these changes, the devs mentioned that they feel much closer to realizing their true vision for this project, and honestly, I'm really happy to hear that. Now for the February 2026 update. They're currently working hard on writing the common dirt, and I'm really glad they're taking the time to focus on it, especially since it's closely tied to the overall story and lore of the game. Because if you remember from the demo, we didn't really get much lore yet. We were suddenly thrown into this world after our accident, trying to find our way back home while also doing our best to act like the real CL Rosenblow, which is not easy at all. The real CL is skilled at magic while we're not, and that creates a lot of chaos, especially with Giel, who had really high expectations of us as his partner. He was so confused. So yeah, they mentioned that the story needs quite a bit of setup before diving into the character roots, and honestly, I really appreciate that. I do think having a strong foundation is important for the story. On the bright side, they're almost done writing the free day system, about 70% complete. Aside from the random side activities they've added, like training and a book system, okay, what does that even mean? We don't know yet, but they did mention that most of the character-focused free day quests are already written. As for the coding, it's progressing, but understandably, it takes time. And it looks like they've added even more romance-coded interactions and fun side activities, which I'm really excited about. They said it gives a fresh perspective on the characters, so they're super excited to show it to us. And not to mention, more CGs and event comic panels are coming. And honestly, I think their decision to use comic panels as a result of our choices is really interesting. It makes the game feel unique and stand out compared to others. Plus, more CGs, sign me up. I'm excited. They also shared a small update to chaos design. Okay, by the way, do I pronounce it chaos or keys? I don't know. Tell me down below, please. They also shared a small update to Key's design, and since I've been talking about him a lot in this video, this is the perfect time to show you what he looks like. Our king. I just love how gentle he looks. They mentioned that they want Ionism to feel like its own religion with independent lore without relying too much on Christian motives, so they updated his brooch to better reflect that. It is now designed as a tear of the goddess. And this actually connects to something I wanted to point out, because if you look at this statue here, we've seen it quite a lot across the maps in this country, so I think this might represent the goddess they worship. And I honestly find that really interesting. It really shows how much care they're putting into the lore, even down to small details like Keu's brooch. And considering he's the king of this country, it makes sense that those details would matter. And now, almost all the Desiderian NPCs have been customized, and I love how this looks. It really feels like there's a festival happening here. It brings such a strong festive vibe. I'm guessing it might be related to the goddess we've been seeing in Desideria's lore. One thing I noticed after looking at all these maps, especially the church, the castle, and the main city hall, is that they all use a lot of blue tones. So now I'm wondering, is there a reason behind that? I would really love to learn more about it. And by the way, did you guys notice this? There's Keith's merch here. But yeah, I remember we actually encountered Keith's fan base in the demo. They were arguing about him, and that scene really stuck with me. It was such a fun moment to watch. And now I'm just imagining, what if we could interact with all of this? Or even bring an ally along? Because imagine Keith seeing his own merch with us? Wouldn't that be so cute? I'm really curious what his reaction would be. They've also added more BGMs, now covering most of the common route and Desideria sections of the game, and they finally got to listen to their vocal opening theme sung by Kawananami from Project Legs, and they said it's really catchy. I can't wait to hear it. Okay, next we're going to the last update, March 2026, and I have a feeling by the time I upload this video, the April update will already be out, but yeah, I'll cover that too, so stay tuned. For the March update, they finally decided how they want to present the next demo. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this upgraded demo. I really can't wait to play it because they mentioned that on top of the full common route, they will also be giving us a preview of every route, just the first few scenes of each. The goal is to build anticipation and give us a glimpse of what to expect from each LI, which means new maps and locations will be revealed, including brand new areas like Kantara and Idris. That's insane, you guys. And honestly, I think this is such a smart decision. Because from the previous demo, there's actually one ally from Idris that we haven't even met yet, so it looks like we'll finally get to see him. And not just that, we haven't really explored areas like Kantara and Idris at all so far, so I'm really excited to see how different they will feel, especially since each country has its own lore. For example, Kantara is known as a country that lacks magic but specializes in technology, so I'm imagining it will feel very different from Desideria, which focused heavily on magic. I can already picture a more advanced, technology-driven environment there. And then there's Idris, a hunter-gatherer civilization that also possesses a powerful form of magic. I remember in the demo that Desideria and Idris are actually enemies. Desideria is trying to conquer Idris, and there was that scene where we went into the forest with Kiel and encountered people from Idris. So even back then, they were already giving us a small glimpse of the bigger conflict in the story. I really love that they're planning to show a preview of each route. I think it's a great way to build anticipation and excitement for what's coming. But at the same time, I'm a little scared. It will just make me even more impatient for the full release. But it's okay. Good games take time. Of course, the playtime for each route in the demo will be limited, and their development plan still remains the same. They'll be releasing 3 separate expansions, starting with Desideria, featuring Keys and Kiel first. And I'm really happy about that because those are the 2 allies I'm most excited for. Isn't that the best reward ever? They also shared that the Kentara City theme is ready and the Idris City theme is being handled by Dama's masterful composition. As for the maps, they're currently prioritizing completing the Desideria assets first before moving on to the preview maps for the other regions. For the development progress, they've completed the first free day and free night events. So it looks like this system doesn't only happen during the day, but also at night, which is really interesting. They also shared a snippet of the nighttime training gameplay featuring a simple quick time button press system. I don't fully understand how it works yet, but I do remember in the demo we had that battle with Kiel where our choices led to different comic panels, so I'm wondering, will the system work in a similar way? We'll have to see. They're also making progress on programming the second parts of each love interest free day quest, which have already been written. They mentioned they're really excited to show us new sides of the characters. But since there are so many CGs and comic panels to create, it will take some time before they can move past this free day segment, which makes sense, honestly. They're putting a lot into it. They've also added tutorials for all the new gameplay features, which we'll be able to access from the main menu. So now I'm really curious to see what kind of gameplay experience they'll give us. And here's a random comic panel with absolutely no context on why he's horrible. But oh my, our MC looks so cute. What did Alistair even do? And seriously, if Alistair doesn't blush after this, he's crazy because she's so adorable. But yeah, Alistair is really charming. I remember he's the teasing type and also the first person we met when we arrive in this world. He's also the first one who knows about our reincarnation. So yeah, what did Alistair do this time? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. And that's all the updates and information about Stand By Me so far. What do you guys think? Which part of this update excited you the most? For me, honestly, everything caught my attention. But if I had to choose, it will definitely be the updated demo. So basically, all of it. I really can't wait for that. I also really appreciate how consistently the devs have been sharing these updates. I think communication like this is really important, and it's always nice to see behind the scenes process along with their ideas and thoughts. It gives you a perspective you wouldn't normally get just from playing the final game. If you don't want to miss the next update, I'll definitely be covering future devlogs as well, so make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it. Since I'll be quite busy this May and June with a lot of exciting content, I might compile the April, May, and maybe even June devlogs into one video and upload it in July, hopefully. And if you've been wanting more RPGs with a female protagonist and romance, you might enjoy this video right here where I talk more about that. That's it for today's video. I hope these updates made you even more excited, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!